Maybe your soul tie is more to a god or goddess than a physical person. Could be an actual reason as to why you feel this devout connection to them. Sometimes we are so tied and so tapped into the spiritual and the paranormal that we don't necessarily understand why or how or why it is constantly surrounding our life. A perspective that I want to share is a perspective that I know is very true to my soul incarnation, to who I am, and to past life regressions. A past life regression showed and claimed and told me all of this information. I went to this woman many years ago, and the past life regression she did on me was actually where she did a drumming circle around me. She was a shaman and a licensed therapist. And I was seeing a vision at the same time that she was writing down notes in between this drumming. Okay, she shared her notes with me before I shared my visions. At the same time she was visualizing, the first visual I got was of a beautiful brown-skinned woman holding my face with deep brown eyes, saying, "Look into my eyes," as I was thrusted towards her. I then, wow, didn't mean for that to happen. I then was thrown into the water, and I remember some form of a shark or an animal taking me down and devouring me, to be honest. I've always been afraid of sharks. That has always been a fear of me, even as a Midwest girl. And this past life regression completely showed why. Because my literal first incarnation, I probably wasn't completely dead yet when I was offered to the ocean, offered to the sea, and taken away. But most importantly, that was what I saw. What she repeated to me, I know specifically, very much so, that the first incarnation I ever lived was as a young girl that was offered to a very wealthy, rich, almost royal family in between the 1100s and 1000s BCE, okay? And I was killed at the age of 13. I was offered as a sacrifice to the gods and goddesses. I was offered from my family at the time to this wealthy family. It was actually a show of honor if families did that, and I was pushed into an act of service that was then prepared through my short years living on that planet in that timeline for this act of a ritual. I know exactly the family that I was given to. I know the area that I was living, okay? I also know that they did these rites specifically. I've always felt very connected and deeply tied to ancient energy and ancient souls. I also come from literally a Druid heritage background. So my life has been filled with spiritual realm. My life has always been surrounded by the paranormal in some aspect. I've always been connected to that, no matter what age, no matter what way I look at it. And I truly feel that is because my very ever first incarnation, I was offered up as a young virgin to the gods. So maybe if you feel similarities and synchronicities, go get a past life regression done, and also maybe that's why.